doors in the back. Like,
I know. Take the next panel out. We can get
I know. We said that to him. We're like, are you?
You're not Sailor Moon fans.
yeah, they should have been here earlier. Then you wouldn't have gotten in. I hope so. No JPEG.
We'll just wait a couple more minutes for Susan, but I have a feeling she doesn't know where to go. And we. Where did Susan go?
That's why we're sitting this far away from each other. Normally we'd have a glass wall between us.
Yeah. At least that keeps out the smell.
That's right. What? It's down. It's happening.
So is everyone having fun?
Yeah.
I feel like we should say something. Say something anyway.
We should talk about Susan and Toby. We could talk about Susan while she's not here.
Yeah.
And Toby.
By
the moonlight, making love by daylight. We're never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. She will never turn her back on her friends. She is always there to defend. She is the one on whom we can depend. She is the one named Sailor. Sailor Venus, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Mars, Sailor Jupiter. Secret powers are so new to her. She is the one named Sailor Moon. Woo! She is the one named Sailor Moon. She is the one Sailor Moon. Woo! And here comes Toby.
I'm recording.
And we have none other than Sailor Mars herself, Katie Griffin. And of course, Sailor Moon. And Sailor Jupiter's a no-show. She'll be here.
She will be here, I promise
She's probably cooking somewhere.
Yes, she is.
Maybe she was her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, so mean. I just recorded all that for my kids, so they think that they know what I do. Because I say, I'm going off to do cartoons. Yeah, all right.
Do we start without her?
No!
Okay. It's your dime.
Hey, I have an idea. Let's all hide.
So you can tell that we had a really good time recording, can't you? And I got to tell you very, very truthfully, although we all love the business, we like what we do, and there's a general camaraderie in basically the whole of the industry. Sometimes you do get together with a cast where everybody just gets along. And not only do they get along at the time of the recording, but years down the road, when we have times like this, where it gets even stronger, and the reflections are wonderful, and we enjoy working as a team, and we become even better friends. And that's really, really what's happened. That's really nice. I made that up. Yeah, it worked, didn't it? Oh. I think we better start. Susan will find us at some point.
I believe in her.
I believe in her too. She believes in herself, which is most important.
She'll shock us with her lightning.
You want to get in there?
At least it's not Sailor Mars being late.
That's right.
Oh wait,
I think it'd be
we
Lou.
weren't late though.
No.
It's 2:31 right now. Job.
Yeah.
Serena's always late.
In real life,
That's right.
I hate being late. More than anything on this planet, I hate being late. whatever.
This
Hey,
straw
guys.
is about as wide as the Panama Canal.
It happens. It's a bubble tea straw.
Yeah.
So, first off, I just want to say thank you for everybody who came out, because this is crazy. I mean, when I was 3 years old recording this voice, it was, good times. But no, we really do thank you guys, and downstairs and stuff, we've been shocked and overwhelmed with the support, and it's really cool to see everybody dressed up. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to get everybody back in the room again and kind of joking around.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It means so much to us, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I like being tall, dark, and handsome.
Skinny and blonde.
Yeah, there's 2 skinny and blondes in the show.
That's true. Well,
That's right.
who's looking at the other one? Oh! Like that, eh?
So I'll tell you what, we really should press on without Susan. She'll, I'm sure, come in any moment. Generally what we have done in the past is open up the floor to questions. We can set any kind of schedule that we want in terms of addressing issues, but we found that sometimes what we have planned and what you want to hear are very, very different things. So let's hear your agenda. We've got a hand up here, the lady that's going to come and replace me shortly.
What was your favorite episode of film, you guys?
See, it's so hard to answer this because it was so long ago.
How long?
I really liked when it started getting kind of serious. I think it was the end of the S one. When it was very, there was a lot of emotion. And I think because I've been just so goofy for so long, just doing all that stuff, and all of a sudden, sort of digging deep. And I remember, like, we wouldn't get the, oh, wait for it.
Susan!
They weren't going to let her in until you guys
Come on down! Come and have a seat, Jukes.
Sorry, my battery and my watch.
Yeah, the old battery in the watch routine.
I thought that's the Sam Moon's excuse.
Yes, I stole it.
She's a fan, let's just say. No, so I liked when I was able to sort of dig deep and get to be like some little emotional thing, and that was fun. For me, that was kind of a fun part. But I always loved being a goofball, that's for sure.
Yes, you. Yes, pointing at yourself. That's everybody.
What was one funny memory you had from recording in the booth?
Toby,
I got one. Okay, so I don't know if everybody's aware that it was dubbing, and we had to watch this big projected screen with all the handwritten words and then the TV, and you had to kind of correlate both things. So that was interesting, because a lot of the times we do a first pass not even knowing the script. So anytime there would be like, a sword slash, all the way over to a tickle, all it would say in parentheses is reaction. Right? So I'm having some talk or a fight or whatever, and then it just says reaction, and I go, ha-ha! It was nothing more than like a, yes. So it was always it made me laugh, because we were like, no, we're going to have to pick that up. That's not a tickle. You just got stabbed in the face. All right. So we'll go for the stab in the face sound. Much better. All right. So for me, that was one of the cool things about it. There was always something new every episode. There was one or two of those things that would just come up and make you laugh like crazy.
Yeah, and it would say yes, it's scream, and you have no idea if you're excited, and you'd go through this big scream. The whole thing was all screaming all the time, but you'd be so excited, and you'd be like, yeah, and then by the end of it, no, you're really sad, you're really upset, and you'd just be so defeated that you have to scream again. Okay.
Any more studio ahas? Well, let me just fill in. I'll take 1 minute and tell you. That's sort of a backstory to what they've done, what Toby was talking about. When you do, I don't know how many of you know the system, the dubbing system. That's probably an interesting feature that many of you are unaware of. It was done on what is called a rhythmoband, where the words are handwritten and written by people who are really adept at matching lips, because of course we're working to original Japanese tracks, which are eliminated, but the lips have to show basically a coordinated match. And so that's what we work on, and because the budgets were low, bet you couldn't tell that. Yeah. We were all selling apples on the street corner at the same time. But it was very, very low budget, and so the studio time was really, really restricted, and that's why you would only sometimes you would just be reading stuff on the fly, and sometimes they accepted reads that were not quite 100%. Well, when I say they, I mean me. Sometimes I would have to, because there was just a time by. And we would just have to do stuff because it was on the fly, and we never saw scripts before, not only because they were changing sometimes on the spot, but simply because they weren't ready. We would be sitting and waiting for, at that time, the video or the film track or something to arrive by FedEx. So, I think I'm not sure, one of you had your hand up for a while.
This is for Sailor Moon. I'm not sure your name, sorry.
Linda Valentine.
If that was in reality, when you made Luna, would you freak out like Sailor Moon would?
If I met her in reality?
Yeah.
Well, she was a little bit of a miserable thing to me. She's so, just stop it. You're just nagging me so much. But in reality, I love cats. I do love cats, I got to admit. Don't tell my dog.
If she would talk to you in reality, would you be scared if she actually did?
I don't know, cats kind of do talk to you in reality. They're the most sarcastic animals on the planet. They just go like, do I want to be fed? Really? That's a cat, so they do talk to me.
If you had the opportunity to do any other Sailor Scout in the show, who would you be and why?
Interesting.
Susan? Maybe we should do Susan.
Sailor Darian?
I was going to say that.
Oh, Isa, yeah, you took Katie's line away. Any other Sailor Scout? You know, actually, well, I always say, preface by saying this, is that we all wanted to be Sailor Moon, but no. So, I wanted to be Sailor Moon, I'll be frank. And then I realized that I was much more... And I was much more suited to Sailor Jupiter, and when they gave us the breakdowns when we were auditioning for the parts, because I think all of us read for every single part, didn't you? You didn't?
I did not. I only auditioned for Sailor Mars. I know.
What?
I absolutely, maybe I came in late, maybe that was the whole thing, I don't know. But maybe Sailor Moon was already cast by the time I got there, but I was just handed Sailor Mars and then I just went for it.
And it was also
And
the
that's
very
who I
first
play
one.
now.
That was your first one, too.
And that was my very first cartoon ever.
You did something right.
But just to finish... Oh, sorry, hello? There's a voice. There's a voice. Yes?
Sure.
Okay, this is something I've been wondering for a while.
What?
Come on.
Food or quote from Winx Club.
What?
Basically, it's Winx Club and the show about fairies. It was done by 4 kids for the first 3 seasons, and then all the voice actors were replaced.
She's asking if they're similar, Winx Club and Sailor Moon.
Nickelodeon got the rights to it with very bland voice actors.
I don't know that one at all.
I can't
even help. I'm sorry.
Wait, so what Sailor Scouts would you be?
Like the moon. If I was going to pick another one, though, I'd be Sailor Jupiter.
Really?
girl. You had little high heels.
They also had fire.
You also work too much.
Has lightning.
All right, are we moving on, or, okay, front row.
Could you each do your favorite line in your respective voices?
So should we do our battle cries? Would that be good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had two, but I'm going to do, well, actually, I had more than two. I'm going to do my favorite one. Okay, Jupiter, thunderclap, zap! Mars, fire, ignite! Moon, cosmic power!
Hey, meatball head. What are you doing here? I thought for sure you'd be over there with your friends, especially since you're acting like total fools.
And my favorite line was, okay, that was a good read. Let's run the scene again, just a little bit happier.
And faster.
And faster. Oh no, that totally spies. Never mind. Yes.
What was the most embarrassing thing that happened in the studio?
Well, can we tell them about the whole nudity?
I seriously thought it was pants off day. I mean,
They told him it was a costume party. Let's get some people from way in the back. Okay, gentleman standing right at the very back.
Okay, all right, so if you have a chance, I know there's a live action Sailor Moon. It just can't release.
Oh yeah, the Saban.
Would you do the voices for those?
We're actors. We do anything.
Yeah.
I'll do your voice if you want me to, baby.
Yeah, there was a live action done by Saban. You can actually Google it. I'm sure a lot of you have. And it's really, really terrible.
It is terrible.
It's so bad. Have you ever seen it? Oh, it's a treat.
I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry. Let me get somebody new. Siri, right on the aisle here.
Do you remember what your last day was playing your characters? Pretty sad, pretty emotional.
They're still playing them.
You know what? I don't know that we knew that that was our last
We
day.
didn't know. Yeah.
So I think we just always went in going, oh my God, we're going to be screaming for a really long time.
Yeah, and then you wait for the call to say, okay, so we're going to need you again tomorrow at whatever, and then the phone doesn't ring.
for years.
All right, yes. Yes.
Okay, this is for both Susan and Linda. I know both of you were in Thomas the Magic Railroad, and I just wanted to know if the filming process for James and Kirsty were different than Sailor Moon and Sailor Jupiter.
Yes.
Okay, next question.
Well, that's acting 101. Did you see what was going across? My brain is going, should I say the truth? No, don't say the truth. No. Anyway, so the thing is about railroad as opposed to moon was the time element. We were speaking, John was saying to you, that it took, we didn't have a very long accommodating schedule for Sailor Moon. But Magic Railroad we did. And we went in and they spent a lot of time with us. Retake after retake after we needed it, let's try it this way, let's try it that way. So when you have that luxury of time, you can actually do a lot more. And also don't forget, these were tank engines. So you didn't have to do a lot of, body matching, right? It's a tank, it's just sitting there.
I didn't think the lips moved, did they?
Yeah, well, they kind of.
But it was also original animation, that one. So we went in there and you can just do your lines. You just take your time and do your lines, and then they match everything up afterwards.
That's true.
So
Yes,
it's like
it
a
was.
luxury.
Although I seem to remember seeing some footage when I was recording.
I do too, now that I said that.
Wasn't that narrative stuff that you talked over existing footage?
I think so, because I saw Alec Baldwin, and I said, why isn't he in this studio? Because, everyone was going, oh, are you going to work with Alec Baldwin? And I said, man, I don't know. He's up on the screen, but I don't hear him in the
I
hallway.
tell people I did.
All right, yes.
This question's from
your own series.
Sailor Mars die. I don't really actually know that they're true. I think she really dies. So I would like to not die. Okay, you come back.
She doesn't die.
She doesn't? She comes. All right, so carry on.
She's just in a coma.
Actually, you know what? I would like I would like Ray to get together with Chad, because that never happened. I was very sad because poor Chad.
Oh man, that's a toughie. I guess a full-on marriage, eh?
I think I'd want Darian to be a really nice guy. Super nice, and he can hand out $5 to everybody. Street level philanthropy, like I said the other day.
Buy beers for people.
Yes,
and stuff.
I'm a beer sucker.
Yeah. Against the wall. Yes.
Will Darian propose to Serena?
Oh boy. Sorry to get down here. Now, Serena, I know this has been a long time coming. And I always seem to have roses, so you probably don't know this already. But would you take my hand in marriage?
Are you kidding me? You're a little late, aren't you? I've got another guy, Chad. In other words, yes.
I'm carrying this child. Who have we had here? Okay, down there, right? Yes.
It's hardly a question, but I grew up with Sailor Moon. It started when I was on grade 1, grade 2. I spent only half the chicken balls watching it 3 times a day. My mother hated it. Over the years, I still think back how Sailor Moon taught me that even though if you're ditzy, if you're a crybaby, if you're a temperamental pyro, we still did everything. We saved the world each day. No matter who you are, you can still do everything and do the best for the world. And I think it inspired me as a child and a young woman, and now a woman.
So it's a question for all of you, both from a directorial and an actor point of view. I don't know if
It's about
you guys.
time.
I don't know if you guys were familiar with the Stars series of Sailor Moon that never came to Canada or North America because the censorship was all like, no. I don't know, like, would you be interested in directing that? And would you guys be interested in, like, ever looking at that side of the Sailor Scouts? Especially, like you said, you enjoyed getting into that much more emotional side of Sailor Moon. And that's essentially where a lot of these Sailor Scouts come into their own as adults. So, would you guys be interested in doing that? And, like, what aspects would you look forward to?
You know, if I may, just briefly, I think I can probably, I'm not going to speak for them, but in a general sense, I think any actor who likes to work and enjoys the medium and just enjoys challenges would probably say yes to anything first and then worry about how difficult it was going to be later. The challenge is always wonderful, and you know, especially with this particular project, if it meant a different take on it, I think it'd be very exciting. You guys?
Well, I think that's what lawyers are for. We just do what we do, and they just sort it out, right?
Do you like how the outer senshi represented in English stuff? The outer senshi, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn?
The other scouts.
Yeah.
Do we like them, did you say?
I didn't get it.
Are they represented in English stuff, their characterizations, working with them, their voice actors?
So are you saying, did we like working with the voice actors?
The characterizations, their whole roles.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like the way that I personally didn't like the way that the North American version took away from Uranus and Neptune. when we were doing it, you know, you'd see these two faces come together, and all the little hearts come out, and you're like, they're cousins? What kind of cousins are those? And every single time, I'm always like, going, ooh, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And so, of course, somebody goes, Linda. Duh. Oh, and I now, maybe we weren't ready for it back then. I don't know, but we certainly are ready for it now. So it would be a nice...
Who hasn't had a question yet? Yeah, sure. Okay.
For all of you, if you could fight any demon in the show or villain, which one would you fight in real life? Ghoul?
The weakest.
Luna.
She fights against him.
Mars.
I totally win.
Fire beats flowers.
We've had, I think you've already answered, have you not? No. Okay, then go on.
I'm a huge fan of the music from Sailor Moon, the whole series and the movies and that. And even when we were driving up here, we were listening to it on the iPod, and we still know all the words. So we were just wondering, which are your favorite songs from the whole series?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the theme song's awesome.
Yeah.
But there was this, so I'm actually a real singer.
Starry Night.
Starry Night.
You sang out of the car.
But you know, the thing is, I actually sound a lot like that singer, but the song was already done. And nobody approached me to ask me, are you a singer? But I totally could have done that, so.
You want to do it now?
Do it now.
Do it now. Do it now. Do it now.
You know what, I am a perfectionist, and unless I can do like a kick-ass version of knowing the lyrics and doing all that.
Do what you know.
I will do it maybe next time. Now I have a mission to learn the song.
Broadcast version or CD version?
Oh.
Oh, okay. CD version would be longer, yes? Like it would be the full song, and broadcast probably had a... Yeah, no, full version. CD version.
So, just want to say, preface this, that you guys were my childhood. And now my early adulthood, because now I'm watching it with my 12-year-old sister, and I'm getting her obsessed. My question is, so, I don't know, I read last year, since it's the 20th anniversary of Sailor Moon and whatnot, that in Japan they're planning to redo, kind of like what they did with Dragon Ball Z, with Dragon Ball Kai, they're planning to redo Sailor Moon and redraw it and everything. So should they redub that, would you guys be interested in reprising your roles?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But we have no idea where it's going.
How about there's a Sailor Jupiter back there?
Yes.
What made you guys want to do your jobs?
Yes.
I'm going to tell my stories, what I'm going to do. I was in theater school. And, Yep, at Ryerson. Woo! Good. And they had a voice class there. And I immediately loved doing it. I loved being in front of a microphone. I loved having the headphones on. And every now and then they would bring in a guest speaker to us, somebody who was in the business. And they brought in this one voice actor. And immediately I went, oh, I know that voice. I know that voice. I know everything about that voice. Oh my God, I love that voice. And I just sat there, and she talked about everything that was going on and everything in the voice world and told us all that. I was just like, and that voice was Susan Roman. So that was before, and I didn't know who she was talking about. So then years later, when I actually got to work with her, I was like, oh my God. Now I'm not so impressed by her. She's sick of hearing that story.
That's a good segue.
That's a good segue.
Well, you know, that really, Linda has told that story a few times, and it really gets to me every single time, because you never realize, and you can, keep telling it for, the rest of eternity, and I'll pay you on the way out. So, what it shows to me is that you never realize what kind of an impact you can have on another person. So you just don't realize. So you may as well Every single time you get the chance to be with somebody new, to meet someone new. Boy, this microphone. Here we go. You'd think I'd never used a microphone before. That you really have to put your best foot forward and give it everything that you have, because you're going to find out 10 years later, 15 years later, 5 minutes later, boy, you know when you said that really, really affected me in a positive way. And, you know, some of you have said, and we've heard it today, and we've heard it when we're at our table, that we had a really positive, profound effect on some childhood memories and on childhoods in general. And I don't think we realized at the time that would happen, because none of us ever thought that it would be as popular as it was. In fact, we thought it wouldn't fly because it was just so different. I mean, we thought it was great, but we just wondered, I wonder if this is going to fly. And then when we found out it was going to fly, we were really, really delighted. But we seriously didn't know at the time. So this is just like a little, Sailor Moon reminder. Put your best foot forward every single time. Sailor Moon says. And you never know what's going to happen.
We have to get somebody else that has
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Way at the back. The gentleman, yeah. The hat.
Yes.
You know, Sailor Moon is popular all over the world, but when I have done stuff in the States, I find that Canada had more an affinity for Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was more of a cult thing down in the States, but it was a household name in Canada. I do think the Canadian audience took hold of the series, whereas the American audience, not so much.
I mean, it's possible it's because some people knew it was made here. I mean, it was recorded here. But we're finding, I'll be honest with you, we're finding that acceptance in the States is, I mean, nothing beats this, because it's a hometown product. But we've been invited to a lot of cons in the States just over the last little while for the coming year, and they are all just nuts to have the gang down. So I don't know if that's a recent phenomenon and sparked by perhaps its 20th anniversary, or if it's, I don't want to say you're wrong, but maybe you're wrong.
No, but do you know what?
No, truthfully, you know what? I have not seen that or experienced that.
Do you know what? It could be also it could be Canadian. It could be broadcasting, because there's Canadian content involved, and so
Good point.
that may be why
Very
we
good
had a
point.
lot more play. Because I think it was on 3 and 4 times a day here, whereas in the States, because it's not Canadian content, they probably
No, why TV's already on TV.
Well, maybe because Tanner
Marginal. It's been bubbling for what, 2-3 years now, the fact that they're going to do it. And I mean, there is an indication that's going to be done in the States with an all-new cast. That's okay. Listen, what I'm thinking of, and ladies, forgive me for doing this, but I'm going to project something. A couple of people asked me, what can I do? And I said, tell you what. Why don't you all write, email, contact the producers and say, we love the existing cast and crew of Sailor Moon the way it is. If you move ahead on a season 6, please, please, please use the original cast. That's what we love. Those are the people we love. Those are the performances we want. Realize that statistics say that every person who responds or replies to something, just like everyone who complains or praises, every voice is worth 10, they say is 10,000 people. Because only 1 out of 10,000 really says what they want to say. If everybody in this room, and I'm not kidding you, you want to hear this gang, you want to see all of us again doing season 6, we'd love to. Send, is it Toby that owns the rights now?
How do you spell that?
All you got to do, I mean, you know what, just Google the ownership of Sailor Moon. They'll either redirect you or it'll tell you who does own it, the rights to 6 and everything else. because I think that's part of the shifting issue, is that the rights are shifting. But if every one of you sent an email to the effect that please continue it the way it is, or we won't watch it, that would carry, although it doesn't seem like it would,
Yes,
carry
threaten
an
them.
immense
The woman with the red on over there.
It's actually, my question's actually for Toby. What was your favorite nickname for Sailor Moon?
Come on.
Meatballhead. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Yeah, for sure. And off the plate. Yeah. For sure, meatballhead.
Oh, this one's for Toby. Could you do your best impression of Sailor Moon?
No, it would always these cry like. By which my oldest daughter is doing this naturally. She's 4.5. She sounds exactly like you. So what does that say? Who knows?
When I was doing Sailor Moon, you know, every morning you'd be trying to warm your voice up and you'd be just like, I can't even talk today. She was screaming so much the day before. I had a little tiny 1-year-old running around, and I'd be walking around going, trying to get it going, and she'd walk by and go, I'd say, are you making fun of me? Rotten kid.
That's funny. I feel like I have to say something now because you just said that. Because I have 2 little kids too,
And I do a lot of voiceover announcing as well. And I do clean and clear, so it's always been because it's been
It's
going-
better than it sounds.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I've been doing it for like 15 years, so clean and clear and under control. So that's been going on forever. So that's
that's you?
That was you. But anyway, so I warm up my voice to that all the time, and then all of a sudden, and I have a 2-year-old now, and I was in the car the other day, and Wyatt looked at me and he went, clean and clear and under control. And he can hardly talk, and I went, please don't let that be your first thing. It was.
White Club.
I know you guys already did like your battle calls, but is it like, or battle cries I should say, but is it possible you can do like your transformation cries?
Yes, yes.
Like Mars Power, is that?
Yeah.
So it's just Mars Power, right?
Mars Star Power.
There's Mars Power, Mars Crystal Power, there's Mars Star Power.
All right. Mars Star Power! There we go. And what was Jupiter's?
Same thing.
Jupiter Star Power.
Jupiter Star Power. Oh, of course. Oh my God. I fell down on the way in and I lost my memory temporarily. Okay. And you see, so I had a different cadence. I was just going to do it the way Mars does. She said, Mars Star Power. No, I never did it that way. I went the other direction, right? Okay. Jupiter Star Power!
And the moon?
Power or
They get changed every
So
Moon Crisis.
Man, I can't
Yeah.
remember any of this.
That was an attack. Crisis Dream Action.
That was an attack.
And Super.
Moon Crisis Dream Action!
Let's go shopping! That's where we've all gone to, you see, in the last 20 years. A new hand, before I get to the double, yes. Okay.
How did you feel about, like, Sailor Moon referencing itself in the show? For example, I remember Molly once was, like, singing along with the radio with the theme song.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the show referencing itself?
I love that.
That's great.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. Instead of the incestuous, I would call it incestuous. Because it is. It's like, you're kind of cannibalizing your own show. I love it. But what's really fun is that most people wouldn't get it. And usually those kind of little subtle things are sent out to the 1% of people that'll go, hey, wait a second, play that again. Sure. Yeah, okay, sure.
Toby? Okay, so one of the things that I loved about the show was whenever Tuxedo Mask showed up and saved everybody, he always had those funny little proverbs. And Which one was your favorite?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. We read them so fast, but do you have one that you know?
I know it vaguely because I remember I was actually watching the dub and the sub of the Ice Princess movie one day.
Right.
Which is my favorite, because Linda's my favorite character. I remember watching the Japanese sub, and when he came in, he had this like really poetic thing about like winter and the effect it has on human behavior, and then the Darian version was something like,
oh, winter
causes a lot of long and hard days, but that's okay because
Crazy. Honestly, I couldn't even remember that. But I did like when he arrived. That was. It always gave me a shot of adrenaline. Yes, I get to be this guy now. Hooray! Where are my roses?
Me? Sure. Oh, great. So can you tell us about when you realized Sailor Moon was a hit?
Can I
Yeah.
just 2 seconds?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so Sailor Moon, they call us in, and this kind of bridges the gap with the whole voice acting thing too. This is my first cartoon, basically. And so I recorded the first few, like maybe a month or so. It was airing when we were still recording. Because I remember that like lines would drop out and they'd have to say, come to the studio and put another line in, and really quickly because I had to go to air the next morning. So I was doing this crazy thing called Sailor Moon. I was also doing the voice of Flash Gordon at the exact same time. And everybody, it was horrible. No one ever saw that thing, and it tanked and whatever. And I didn't know what Sailor Moon was going to be. And I was taking the TTC somewhere, like a streetcar somewhere, and I saw this little boy need a backpack, and I was like, that looks like Tuxedo Mask. I was sitting there trying to like kind of crook my head, and I'm like, that is totally my character. So I'm like trying to clamor to get, I never got close to him, but I was like, man, I'm sure. So I called my brother Kel. I said, Kel, I think I just saw my character on a kid's backpack. He goes, that's cool. And I said, well, that's kind of neat, I guess. I thought, well, one time for everything. And then about a week later, boom, it hit. And everybody started calling me, and people said, you know, this thing is crazy, right? And that was my story. Like, it was this little kid's backpack that, like, I was like, all right, we're here. That's cool.
I was obsessed with kung fu movies when I was younger, and I used to go and watch them dubbed. And anyway, it's a long story that I'll keep brief. I went to Spadina and Dundas to get to the store to get some kung fu movies. And I walked into this store, and it was all Sailor Moon. And I freaked out. I just thought, I had no idea. And then, of course, I bought out the store. And I told them, and they didn't even care. I don't even think they knew what I was saying, but I kept saying, I'm Sailor Mars! And they thought, she's crazy. We'll take her money, because she's going to... Okay, bye!
Well, I remember, because way back at the beginning, I think we were probably into our second or third or fourth year, we actually had a con called conventions in those days, and in the North Hall. So I don't know how many years ago this was. It could have been
2001.
2000? 2001? I think it's, okay, I thought we had one before then. But we knew that it was popular, but the thing that I want to talk about this particular con was we had a lineup, not as many people waiting in line for our autographs as are here today. But the most amazing thing was, and this is a true story. We're sitting there in the lineup, and all these people are coming in saying, hi, I really like the show, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, standing in my table in front of me is a person wearing a Sailor Moon costume. And I went, wow, look at you. And she said, well, I thought I'd dress up for the occasion. I'm a really big fan. And I thought, oh, that's really great. And all of us are going, oh my God, she came dressed up She came dressed. Nobody dressed up. Nobody. I think she was the first person on the planet to come to a con dressed up. And, you know, and as she's walking through, like you can see, everybody's going, oh my God, who is that? Why is that woman wearing a costume? Is this, and look what's happened. Isn't it amazing? Where is she here?
The mother of us all.
Because, how great is that? And it's just turned into this fantastic thing. Look at all of you guys in costume, and you haven't just slapped it together like some really cheap Halloween costume. You know the way some people go, oh, it's Halloween, I'll just put any old thing on. Like, you really take a lot of time and care to put the costume together properly. I think it's fabulous. There we go.
Susan, just so you know, I'm going to surprise you here. That lady was John.
And deep down inside me, she's still there. Dressed like Sailor Moon. Okay, sure. One of these? Okay, oh yeah. Pick one.
Okay.
Arm wrestle.
It's just quick, but I was just curious. I'm sure we're all huge fans, so even we can say it. How sick did you get of the flute solo in season 2? Because even us as huge fans, we were like, that's our fans.
I didn't get sick of it. I was obsessed with
We were
it.
watching it on TV, there was no fast forward. You get up, go to the bathroom, come back. I blocked that out.
Wow, that was beautiful. Wow, did you record that? Anybody think?
No, we missed it.
Did you get your answer? Oh, okay. Not really, but...
This one's for Katie specifically. I'm a huge fan, like a young boy maturing into a gay adult. But that's my introduction. My real question is, like, you've done so much voice acting, and a lot of it's like child or young adult focused animation. And I'm wondering if you feel that maybe Sailor Moon kind of typecast you in that role, or like, would you be interested in doing more adult cartoons like the Archers of the World?
Do you know what? I would love that, because my natural voice is quite a bit deeper than the cartoons. But I think what happens is, you know, Sailor Moon was uber successful. So my voice naturally, if I go and I see a script and I go into the audition, I audition a lot for teenage girls or little kids and little... naturally, I want to be successful, and I want to book the part. So all of a sudden, it starts talking like this, and it gets a little higher, and then by the end, I'm totally talking like this for everything. Well, that's a little bit of Alex. I think naturally, by the end of the day, like yesterday, by the end of the day, I came home, and my husband was sitting there, and I went, oh, hi, Michael, and I just naturally, I think by the end of the day, your voice is all warmed up and crazy, and I think that's why, because naturally I think my voice goes that way, but I could play a grown-up. I am a grown-up. I did play Cellon, and that was in Backspon, and she was evil, and that was kind of fun, because I never get to do that. And a very register. But thanks for being
You asked a question before, please. Let's get everybody. Who hasn't asked a question before? Okay. Yes. Right through. Yes.
Yes. I'm wondering what you guys do to kind of keep alive with like your kids or your nieces, nephews, whatever, if they're all interested in it or whatever. And also, do you know how difficult it was to find a Sailor Jupiter costume? So difficult. I could not find one anywhere. I had a Sailor Moon costume and I would dress in it and pretend to be Sailor Jupiter.
Well, you know, it's funny, when it comes to the kids, my kids don't tell anybody that I was Sailor Moon. Yeah, and I was always like, why did your friends? Because every now and then, you know, somehow it'll come out. Maybe they'll see a picture or something nice, and they'll say, oh yeah, my mom's Sailor Moon, and they'll go, and they'll look at me. And I'm like, it's true.
And that's why they don't tell.
Yeah, but I think the hard part is that I found out from my oldest daughter, Madeline, she said, I don't tell my friends because it doesn't come up in conversation, Mom. You don't just walk around going, oh, by the way, my mother's Sailor Moon. I bet all of you guys would, wouldn't you? Yeah! So I was when I did the Anime North conference there just in the spring. That was the first one that I had ever done, and I really didn't know what to expect at all. And when I went there, and all these Sailor Moon fans were just like, "Whoa!" And my kids came. And I was like, "See, I told you so." So they were impressed.
Is it a shock to you to find out that Rainey was your daughter, or as much as it was to the characters?
I always knew. We're kind of the same height.
It was a little bit of a shock.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't know you were.
Go ahead.
Okay, hi. This is a question for everybody. What is like your favorite trait about your character, or your least favorite trait about your character?
Oh, yeah, no, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think about it daily. What I love about my character is that she is not afraid. She's strong and feisty and all that kind of stuff. That's accepted. But she's not afraid to express how she's feeling at the moment. So if she sees somebody who's really kind of cute, likes to hide, all that kind of stuff. Oh, he's and talking too much. But if she's losing at the arcade, she lets people know, I'm angry, I'm pissed off. I love it. Sometimes you keep all that stuff inside of you. I think it kind of builds and builds and builds. And then the other thing that I love about her, I love about all of them, but particularly Lita, is that she's not afraid to call her friends on bad behavior. Right? So if you are really good friends with somebody, if you're really close to them, I think you should be allowed to say at any time, you know what? You know when you said that last night, that really hurt me. And if it's a really good friend, that friend is going to say, oh, wow, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. And a not so good friend is going to say, what are you talking about? Don't be so sensitive. Arr! That's to me that's not a great situation. So I like the fact that she has enough confidence in her friends, and she kind of maybe leads the way a little bit in that, and to say, I'm not happy with what you just did. It hurt me, or it embarrassed me, or whatever, and I think you should know it, and let's talk it through. So that's what I really, really like about her, and what I don't like about her is nothing.
I like a lot of things about Ray, because I think she's awesome. But I think even though she fought a ton with Serena, she's fiercely loyal. She's a hard worker, and I feel like there's something about loyalty that I connect with that, and I think it's super important. And I'm fiercely loyal with my friends, and and I do, and just like I do show my emotions, and I do fight, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I love my buddies, my friends, So that's it. Yeah, loyalty.
I like that she's just a goofball. Because I think that's such an important part of growing up. Teenagers are two things. They're kids and they're adults. They want to become adults, but they're still kids. And inside, they're just kids. And they just want to be that goofball all the time. And I kind of like the fact that she held on to that a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I really liked the romantic side of Darian and like Tuxedo Mask when he was nice. I think it did bother. What I didn't like is I didn't like him being mean to girls, and I also didn't like the girls feeding into that. As a father to daughters now, I'm like, I don't want my daughters liking jerks. So no jerks. It's a no jerk policy. Yeah, no jerks.
Yes, the pink thing, head unit.
I know it's been quite some time since you all were recording together and everything, but do you still keep in contact with everybody who did the voices for all the sailors and a couple of the other people?
We see each other a lot. There are a few other. Emily Claire Barlow, who played Sailor Mars for a while, we're really good friends. And then she came back and she was Venus. Right. But yeah, we all.
And I actually went to high school with her.
I did not know that.
True story.
And so yeah, no, I think we all.
There's a really nice sort of bond, call it a fraternity sorority amongst a lot of the actors. And I'll be honest, it's the more mature actors, shall we call it? I mean, have their own kind of unit. I mean, we all know each other, and we've gone through the trials and tribulations. When we all our references are somewhat comparable because we were either in or auditioned for or guested on particular shows. So, you know.
Also, remember too, we didn't ever record with each other, right? We would always do it singly. I don't think I ever did one with anybody else, correct? Maybe.
Sometimes they would pair up the Sailor Scouts.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I used to work a
Really?
lot with Sailor Venus, with Stephanie. And I think you worked more with...
Did I don't think
Is that true?
No, I didn't. I didn't work with...
I've-
See, the...
No,
Karen
I
and
was
said
always
it.
singular. I never got to work with anybody.
Yeah.
I recall, yeah, they would often double the two of the scouts. I remember doing that sometimes. But that often, yeah, and yes, if there was a lot, I mean, it still happens now anyway. Even in original voice animation, where most of the recording is done actor performer at a time, it's very little ensemble work. But if you had twin brothers, or mother, father, or boyfriend, girlfriend, often when there's pages and pages of dialogue that were on which they interact, you would have them in at the same time, and that would be the same thing. If two of the scouts were the featured actresses in that particular episode, it would sometimes be advantageous simply because of the chemistry that would be maximized by having them both in. Yes.
It's a question for you, actually. You're an amazing voice actor in your own right, and I was wondering if you
So yeah.
I was wondering if you did any voices on Sailor Moon, and if you could maybe do like a little piece.
Well, you know, I can do a little beastly. I can do a little beastly anytime. And thank you for asking. And yes, I did voices in the largest role I did in Sailor Moon was the role of Grandpa. And well, I couldn't lie about that. But actually, it's interesting because I used to do a lot of bits and pieces. I was called in the dubbing world. You can do lines from 10 different episodes. And it's basically your either total number of lines or the total number of hours. That's how dubbing is paid. That's why you're paid a pittance. So I would be called in by the producers, and they would place 8 episodes for me, or 7, and I would do line here and 2 lines there and 4 lines there and 6 in this one. And I happened to be there when actually I was doing that when the previous voice director was released, shall we say, and the producer turned to me and said, "John, would you like to be the new voice director?" Right there in the studio. I said, "Okay." And that was my first voice directing job.
Now, as we all know, we never want the moon to end.
Yes.
But we're going to have to come to an end. I know. Now, here's the thing. You all have to understand that we have loved every single second of doing Sailor Moon. It has been the most magical experience of all of our lives. It's something that we had no idea the enormity, and it will always be with us, and it's going to be with us because of you guys. So thank you so much. You guys are
since the panel's over, I think you should sing us out.
Yes.
What do you think?
We are going to continue signing autographs downstairs, so come on.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you. Guys rock.
Thank you.